Good day, losers. Welcome to another episode of Sloss and Humphreys on the road. In today's episode, I really want to talk about the Olympics because me and Cullen and Cara have actually been really enjoying the Olympics for the first time. I didn't realise that, it's kind of just like it's the best of the best competing. And I've actually found myself getting into all the sports and really enjoyed it, and I had some interesting opinions on that. But unfortunately, fucking some of Kai's scummy mates were being scum, so we had to talk about that for a fucking hour. So here it is.
Sloss and Humphreys on the road.
Muggins and cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh. They said it can't be done.
Are we in the same seats?
That's hack.
Ah, muggles.
Accidental rim job in the park.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Or am I just being cynical?
Muggled it up on fucking Mugglepedia.
Where have you been since 9/11?
Make sure my phone's on silent.
Oh, did you do that joke?
Aye.
Oh, fuck. I was driving.
Aye, but you also knew the podcast was today.
I know, but I've had a very eventful weekend.
Aye, but you still, you messaged me being like, when should I come through for the podcast? And I was like, well, I'm getting my vaccine today, my second vaccine. And you were like, okay, well, I'll just come after that. So you had all that time building up to them with knowledge in your head that you were doing a podcast.
But do you know what's happened since that text message and now?
Yes, I do. Tom Daly won his first gold medal.
Did he?
Yep.
He's never won a gold medal before.
No.
Wow, I thought he was decorated.
So the reason he was big, because I was the exact same. Like I woke up this morning, I was meant to be coming out to the fucking peloton to finally be after our long trip away, finally be getting back into shape, and I'm in my shorts.
Yeah, peloton diving board.
I'm in my shorts and my shirt. I come in and Cara's just there. She's like, Tom Daly just won his first gold medal, and I'm like, but he's won loads of gold medals. She's like, no, only ever bronzes. But it was because he was young when he won them, and we all got excited. But he's never actually won anything more than a bronze. So he did it in the synchronised diving, and the commentator was excellent. I have no idea who the fuck it was. But it was
synchronised commentating.
Two
Two commentators commentating on each of them, just saying the exact same thing.
Yeah. And you can watch what their scores are on BBC Two. It's actually on Red Button. That's a different competition. That's the Olympics for commentating. And the only people that normally don't get judged is the commentators of that. And otherwise, I mean, then you're just breaking so many walls at that point.
So, I've not tuned into the Olympics yet, just because, again, I've been too busy to do dad jokes. I haven't had time for the Olympics just yet. But before we get into the Nexus event, that there was a Nexus event in my life that went from my wife's mum turning up at my house with a scalpel and a sledgehammer. Mm-hmm.
The old Romani circumcision. I honestly thought they would have got past that tradition now, but it's nice to know that Mammy Pa keeps it alive in this day and age.
Yeah,
and dear listener, whatever you're picturing, correct. It's exactly how they do it.
So on Thursday, Mummy Ba turned up with a Stanley knife and a sledgehammer, and by Sunday, one of my Geordie mates was in therapy.
I hope it's Matty.
Right, I'm not going to use any names. But let's just, for the sake of this, say Matty.
Right, so Matty, this is what Matty did.
This is what Matty did. Right, but before it got to this Nexus event where the timeline changed, right, we got back off tour, and I was like, bye Daniel, I'll see you at the podcast on Monday. And then I drove back I dropped you off at Edinburgh.
Yes.
And then took the hire car to Glasgow.
Yeah.
And then said, Natalie, can you pick me up from the airport because I've got to drop the hire car off at the airport? And she was like, I've got work. And I was like, well, could your mum? And she was like, oh, my mum's got this thing with a sledgehammer on it.
She's really, it's her new thing. She's very excited about it. I think it's some sort of street performance, but she does say it's medical. I think it might be both.
so right, she goes, my mum's just recently picked me up from the airport, so I don't think it's fair. I was like, in my head, I'm like, we literally live 10 minutes from the airport, man. It's not that big a deal. Mummy Ba is so fucking helpful. She would not bat an eyelid and been asked twice in 1 week to get to the airport, right? So I was like, oh, cool. Like, I don't know. You know her better than me, right? I was like, what about your brother? And she was like, oh, it's just a bit much to ask. I'm like, he's literally lived 10 minutes from the fucking airport. What's going on here, right? So Natalie's like, the only way I can do it's before work, but we'll have to get up at 6. I was like, I was getting back at like fucking 1, 2 in the morning,
Aye.
right? And I'm like, fine, I'll get up at 6, I'll drop the car off, and then I'll have the whole day, right?
Aye.
So I get up at 6.
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't go back to bed after that, would you? Because you would just sleep. Because you don't nap, you would just sleep for 8 hours.
I would just, that would be me just having another 8 hours sleep before I
I
went
think
back
that's
to
such a
bed.
fucking wild way to live. Because if you wake me up, like if I get anything like 6 or 7 hours sleep, all I am doing is going, right, when am I getting that 3 hours during the fucking day? Because I will not go a day without my...
Mate, getting up's the hard part. So once I'm up, I'm not going to put myself through
Getting
that
back
again.
to sleep's the easy part, man.
I can't deal with getting up twice in one day. Getting up once in a day
Well, don't
is
get dressed
so
the
hard.
first time.
I've got to drop off a hire car.
Oh, yeah, what, to who's sex? It's not a fucking Rolls Royce.
So that's it. That's it. Right? I wore cloth shorts and just a little t-shirt. Right? I just
Right.
wear shorts and t-shirt. 6 in the morning. Right?
Thanks
And
for
then-
saying little t-shirt as well. Cloth shorts and a little t-shirt.
little t-shirt. Yeah, I was just like how I am now, Daniel.
Aye.
But it wasn't the heat of the day. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, and even though it's the summer, we're in Scotland now. We're not in Kansas anymore, right? So we get up at 6, and Natalie's like making us a packed lunch, making us a coffee, and I'm like, this is fucking overkill for a little 10-minute drive to the airport. This thing, right? So I'm like, I get my coffee off, and I get the thing, and I was like, right, I'm gonna get petrol first. So I swear I said I'll meet you at the petrol station. I make not of it. It's the
Yeah,
morning.
I mean,
I'm terrible in the morning.
I was not there for this story, but I
believe-
guarantee you didn't.
I believe Natalie.
Aye,
Right.
so do I.
I believe Natalie that I was just like, I told her I was going to the petrol station. I think I just assumed that meant let's convoy,
Aye.
right? So I get to the petrol station, I put petrol in, and I phone Natalie and just like, hey, you left the house yet? Because I've finished putting the petrol in. She's like, oh no, I'm already on my way, so I'll just see you there. I was like, bastard, I need it another way. Like, I left me fucking... Because, the sat-nav was the phone and the connectors and everything. We need the connectors. Because the hire car took, like, all the connectors out and everything. So I didn't want to, like... I had to, like, work my way there with the phone, like, on my lap, which I didn't like doing. But I was like, whatever, I'm not in convoy. I get to the hire car at Glasgow, and I fucking took ages trying to find the key drop because the fucking guy that was the only person that was there was sweeping it. It wasn't open yet. And he kept fucking sending us in the wrong direction and all that to get it. And I eventually fucking dropped the keys. I spent like 10 minutes putting petrol in, 10 minutes putting the thing, and Natalie still wasn't there. And I rang her and I was just like, are you not meeting us at the DHL car park? Because that's the bit where you can pick people up for free without paying the short stay stuff. And she was like, DHL in Edinburgh? I was like, Edinburgh? She's like, I've just passed Falkirk because I'd spent time stalling. So she's getting 20 minutes away from Edinburgh Airport by the time I rang her.
Wait, she
saying
was
where I
driving to Edinburgh Airport?
Ah!
Oh, no wonder she didn't think her mum could do it.
Because her mum had just picked her up from Edinburgh Airport recently. So twice in 1 week, and Edinburgh and back.
Oh, that... Oh, man.
And I was like, why would I be going to Edinburgh? She was like, you said
I'm actually not on Natalie's. Why on earth would you be dropping it off? Is it the excuse because I picked up the car despite the fact that we fucking picked it up in London?
So get this, right? So when I'd said the airport, right, like, I didn't think I said Edinburgh Airport.
Also,
right?
yeah. But also, like, when you live 10 minutes from an airport, you don't have to specify which airport.
I definitely just said the airport. And if the word Edinburgh was in the conversation, it was like, I'm dropping Danny off at Edinburgh, and then I'm driving back, and then I need you to take us from the airport.
Aye.
So the fact is, that sentence possibly had the word Edinburgh in it.
Yeah.
Right? Which... this is just all failure of communication between me and my wife. This is just me and my wife need to work on my marriage. Right? That's all it is. Nothing more. Just we need marriage counselling. So I'm trying to like blame her on the phone, and she's trying to blame me, and it gets a little bit heated on her phone, and then she comes back. Right? She doubles back, turns around in my car as well. You hate this about my car. You can't change the sat-nav when you're driving because you shouldn't be touching the screen when you're driving.
Oh, God.
And it means you have to fucking pull over.
You're
on the motorway and you have to pull over.
It's the worst feature. Like, if you design a car, if you work for Audi, you are the worst people in the world. Like, you're driving the car, I need to change my destination, so, passenger, we've gone to the wrong place. Or passenger goes, in fact, can you actually drop me off at my friend's house instead of all the way home? It's just easier for me. And you go, certainly, passenger, I can. Can you please type in the address? Audi's like, well... Well, clearly the driver's doing that. Despite the fact that we made a vehicle that seats 5 fucking people, we can only fathom
but you've got the
one lackluster moron would go, oh!
You've got the technology to know there's a person in that seat if the belt's undone, you fucking squeaky bastard. It screams at you if there's a passenger in with a belt undone. So the technology's there to say there's somebody in that seat. That's most likely
even
operating.
on fucking Pokemon Go, right? When you're driving around in Pokemon Go, right, and your friends are right when your friends in the passenger seat, the Pokemon Go can tell how fast you're going. It's like you're clearly in a fucking car while doing this, but you can just click, "I'm a passenger." Even Pokemon Go has that motherfucking option, Audi. Shame on you! Shame on you, bad car maker, bad.
It's really naughty.
Also, stop with button ignitions. I'm bored of this. And also button parking. There was nothing difficult about handbrake.
The handbrake and the ignition, like...
Two flawless bits of technology.
I'm not being stuck in my ways here. But, like, you know what? When you turn the ignition on, you know where the keys are. You put it in the key thing.
You can never leave your car without turning the car off.
Even use the same technology as the button, right? But just we'll put a key in and turning the key presses the button.
Yeah.
And then we'll let go of the key and it's in the position and the button's been pressed.
Yeah. I do not need to feel like I'm in a fucking rocket ship. I'm in a Peugeot. I know what I am, okay? I know. At no point I'm like, it's like I'm on my way to the moon.
And I keep forgetting to knock it off now. I've done the whole Have a Word podcast in the hire car, right? I had 3-hour podcast or something, and I come back out and my fucking car was boiling. It's just been ticking out.
Just so I hate it so much. They've some things they've just made worse.
I took the key out with us. I took the key into the building with us to do the pod. Come back out. The engine had been running the whole time.
Tesla's good.
How's that a thing? You fucking you should be taking the key out and then the car stops.
Yeah, aye. Well, that's what the Tesla does. The second you go out of a fucking distance, it's like, he's not in the fucking car. He's pissed off. That's not him. He'll be back soon.
But then I'd done that to you. I left you in the car and took the car key with us. And then the alarm went off when you were in the car.
Which is my nightmare of all nightmares.
Being in the car with no key. And
no, with an alarm going off. Man, as always, I hate any type of fucking alarms. If you want to torture information out of me, just have a beep every 4 seconds, and I guarantee you I'll crack within a minute. I hate being responsible.
You ever been sleeping in someone's couch when they've got a ticking clock in the living room?
Aye, man.
Oh.
I also hate being responsible for fucking noise. That's why, I hate yappy dogs, and I would never have a fucking yappy dog at all. Right, because my dog's my responsibility, and it's going to shut the fuck up, and it's not going to ruin somebody's day just because I'm a bad fucking owner. So being in a car
while the alarm's going
off and not being able to do anything, oh my god, I'm cringing into a ball of anxiety at the fucking. I don't think I'd ever recover. So
Natalie couldn't change the sat nav. So she turns around because she had to basically just take a long way and get back to where she knew she was and then take the journey there rather than the quickest route. So I was waiting for a little while for her to get back.
And at what time did she arrive at Dundee Airport?
So I'm in Glasgow Airport walking around in my fucking shorts and t-shirt in the morning. I'm just getting back from Tenerife and forgot my luggage. And the fucking cops...
No, EasyJet lost your luggage. Let's be real. Nobody's assuming you lost your luggage. Yeah, good old EasyJet.
So the cops fucking pull out and ask us again, you look a bit lost there, mate? Because I was a bit lost. I was looking for my wife. I'm looking for my wife. 6 o'clock in the morning, and I just explained to them. I was like, "Fucking yeah." Last went to Edinburgh Airport. I'm just dropped off the hire car, and they were fine with us. But I was just left twiddling my thumbs for a bit. And in the time it took Natalie to come back and pick us up, she'd fucking found a sense of humour about it. She was laughing at us, stood there. She was like, "Man, I've just been thinking about it. There's so many warning signs that had my wires crossed." She was going, "I made you a packed lunch." She goes, "I said we've got to get up at 6 because it's going to take hours." I was like, "Oh, I thought you were just hyperbole. I thought you knew the morning traffic better than me."
Yeah.
And she was in convoying from the airport as well. She's like, "You go to Danny's from our house all the time and he lives right next to the airport, right?" And I'm like, "Yep." And also, Danny lives right next to the airport.
Yeah.
He would have just dropped it off There's a warning sign on your side.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I drop Danny off at Edinburgh, drive all the way back for a fucking 4-hour nap, and then convoy with you to Danny's house again to ditch the car? And this is what, you know how I was saying you guys have got a caricature of how retarded I am in your head. Natalie's got a caricature of how mean you are in her head.
Why?
She thought you were just being mean. She thought I just thought you know how Danny can sometimes get. I thought you'd be like, well, I'm not dropping the hire car off.
I've never been like that. I've never been like that before.
Look, you can be cranky and you can be like, oh god, I've got to do it. Right? And you do like other people doing things for you. But I'm like, that's a caricature of how mean Danny is.
I don't like people doing other things. People do other things for me because I'm famous and important. It's
and I'm like, even though I do like do a bit of heavy lifting with the tour because fucking it's like, you know, I'm working way on the tour, so I'll do like the sound check, I'll pick up the hire cars and stuff like that, right?
You're technically tour manager.
I'm technically tour manager at the minute because fucking we've been playing with a shoestring budget.
Aye.
So
I'm not paying anyone else.
This is what you
when
get.
I can pay Kai the exact same amount.
The same amount.
I can do twice the work.
Half, actually. I'm getting half. But I'm sure I'll come back around. I'm just happy to be working, you know. Tell you one thing, I wouldn't have fucking dropped the hire car off two way in Edinburgh.
I wouldn't have made it. It would have been outright disrespectful.
Even if you fucking tried to pull that one, I would have been like... Do you think it's subordination for me to tell you to fuck off here? Because we're mates.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, I might open for you, but you're my customer. You're buying my product here.
I know my wife, and it's more than this.
It's more than this. So Natalie had let that alarm bell slide instead of just having a conversation. Does Danny not just want to drop it off?
No.
Because especially how we came up the West Coast and all, it would have been so much fucking easier.
Way easier
to drop me off.
100%, because that was the route we had to come off to get to Edinburgh to fucking drive it.
So she took it really well, right? Took it on the chin. The next day, right? Hold
on, I also think I did even offer to drop it off at Glasgow one because I could have got a character. I might have even done that, but then you were like, I'm in Glasgow.
And even if I had, I would have just stayed over at yours, dropped it off, and had Natalie pick us up.
Aye.
Rather than fucking zigzagging.
I'm back on Team Kai. Natalie, stick his picture. I'm back on. Here we go. Natalie, you dumb bitch.
Look, there was many an alarm bell on both sides, and all the way back we were just laughing as we remembered different alarm bells where we could have had a conversation about it.
Aye. It is mad that at no point... even I picked up on the one being like, oh, that's why it was definitely outrageous.
Getting us up at 6 a.m, making us a packed lunch.
It's before, I honestly thought it was we couldn't possibly ask my mother, who lives 5 minutes away, to drop you off at an airport 10 minutes away at 9 a.m. That would be... She's done enough for us this week.
11 was the latest it had to be, just before 11. Woman's retired. She just wants to help.
Yeah. Natalie's I couldn't ask her to do that. So she's done enough for us this week compared to there's no way we can ask my mum to wake up at 6 a.m. to drive through in the morning to pick you up from Edinburgh. That's fair. That's high.
Yeah. So from her side it made sense. From my side, that was an alarm bell. I should have picked up that we had cross purposes.
Yeah.
But there was so many of them. And we just laughed about it all the way through, right? We're like, fucking, I've just woke Natalie up at 6 o'clock in the morning, sent her to Edinburgh, right? get away with that. I did. And then the next day, right, Natalie was like, I was doing my Twitch stream. And I was like, I finished my Twitch stream at 1. Do you want to do dinner at 1? She was like, oh, I've got meetings from 1. So, we'll have to do it, I'll have to do mine at 12 or whatever. So what happened is, she sent us a text saying the salmon's going to be 9 minutes and there's noodles on the hob, they're done or whatever, right? And I looked and it was 11 minutes. You know when you get the notifications on your phone? It was 11 minutes ago. It says your salmon's going to be ready in 9 minutes, right? I was like, oh fuck. And I went and I got the two thingies of salmon, the noodles, she put some fucking veg on and all that, and I enjoyed my dinner. And then I began to play Call of Duty with Matty and Elliot. And about 3 o'clock, Natalie come down and went, I'm starving. Should we have our dinner now? Right? She meant if I opened the text messages, I would have read, if you're eating it straight away, portion me some up, and I'll just have it when I finish my meetings.
Aye.
Right? Or you can wait until then and have it with me.
Aye.
If I'd opened it, I would have seen that. Instead, I just had all of it. So I had my friends coming and all that, right? So I had to go and get some booze from the shop and everything anyway. And what I went and done while I was at the shop, because Natalie just made herself like a peanut butter bagel because we didn't have much in, right? So when I was at the shop getting like booze and snacks from my mates coming, I got the exact same items and made the exact same meals so that when she come back doing, she had the same meal. So I kind of fucking redeemed myself. And she was laughing about that because she was like, "Oh, fucking, it's a full moon. Like, I'm not going to get worked up about anything. Even if I feel like I should get worked up about it, I'll just let it pass. I'll reflect on it."
That makes me so angry.
What, that's just willing to just notice?
Because it's a fucking... No, what do you mean notice? There's nothing to notice. There's nothing to notice. That's not being self-aware. Don't pretend, she's being so self-aware that she knows that the fucking... It's a full moon, so she's
how
going
as a comedian...
Nonsense.
How as a comedian can he not see the fucking cause and effect of full moon and just go, I can't explain it, but fucking crowds are messy, city centres are messy.
No.
Like, fucking, the full moon has definitely got some shit going on with it. And your dad rationalised that there was before. What he thinks it is.
70% water.
No, he debunked that one.
Oh,
he said that we're not big enough a body of water for it to affect our tides as people to move our chemicals. Because I thought it was like a tidal thing, but like with us being water.
Oh, that's,
His reckons it's more primal than that, and it's because you're either hunting or hunted when there's a full moon because you can see at night. So there's still a part of you that switches on fucking primal fight or flight mode. So you're living with fight or flight mode during the time of a full moon. That's your dad's theory on it.
But is Natalie's theory? Is Natalie's theory on it being a full moon that theory, or is it because Mercury was also in retrograde or whatever the fuck it is?
She's like, I don't know what it is. I just know I'm different.
Oh, right, okay.
And like, it's not like a recent thing to be noticed. The etymology of lunatic comes from luna.
All
Right. So.
Oh, well, back when people didn't know science. That must be true.
I'm saying, like, it's a note. I feel like as much as I'll fucking put star signs in Muggle Corner, I'll tie hocus pocus about fucking like Reiki and all that, right? I'm like, but how much have I got to notice this occurrence before I can? Right, I cannot explain it, but
it's like home advantage. Like all the evidence points to the fact that it is true, despite the fact that there's no reason why it should be true.
So I would probably be quiet about the fact that I recognise that behaviours seem to change when there's a full moon, right? But Natalie's a very outwardly spoken full mooner. Mm-hmm. She's a flat mooner. So she's like, there's a full moon, and then one of our other little based on nothing things was and things come in threes as well.
yeah, but in the rule of three, it's stand-up, absolutely.
Man, I wish she hadn't been so fucking correct that there was a third thing coming. Because there was a Nexus event that started with Natalie's mum turning up with a sledgehammer and a scalpel.
She always would have found the third thing.
She didn't need to find it. It turned up at our door. Right, so this is the chain of events. I'll try and skim through it because I've already spoke to you about it in length.
Yes, I've got all the juicy details.
Right. And
much so that such juicy details that you came in and me and Cullen have been watching the Olympics and we paused it because we were ready for the story, and then you started it and I was like, no, Cara's not here yet, so I texted her. She was like, fuck him in the shower, and literally got dry.
You wouldn't let us talk about the event?
No. Like Cara, because we'd heard rumours of this story, like when something happens over a weekend, or
you just get a feeling something happened.
No, but you get like in your group chat, somebody goes, "This thing's happened. Here's like 10% of the information." It's like the way the fucking Americans do. Next time on.
Well, because I'd put a couple of like key moments in the WhatsApp chat, right? But it's like it's literally a fucking 1 hour conversation to unpack the whole thing, right? Like it's still fucking not fully unpacked yet, but. So it started where Natalie's mum and Kat's mum, who are totally oblivious to what they've created, and that, like, it was nothing to do with intentionally about this. It's literally just when you trace something back to the first domino and it's something completely different to what happens. We've got a trampoline in the garden that came with the house. We don't want it. It doesn't, it looks alright, it's fun, it's got a novelty to it where people go, oh, you've got a trampoline, bounce on it once, and then don't do it again. If people bring their kids around, I probably wouldn't want their kids on the trampoline because it's up against a pebble dash wall. Most have safety cages. This is up against the tap, and electric plugs and a pebble dash wall and a window with a windowsill.
Instead of getting rid of the trampoline, did you ever consider being less selfish and then instead of building decking across it, building it upwards and just lots of Velcro, and then any kids that come round,
You could just...
you could paint a big target on it. Like
so you could trampoline, Velcro wall. Everyone has a nice time.
Oh yeah,
So
and then like a flower bed underneath, or just like a mattress, so it doesn't have when it falls down. But that's a great way. When your friends' kids are pissing you off because your friends' kids are shit because your friends are shit.
Because you haven't played that big a part in raising them.
Yeah. Like those ones. How good would it be if you could just? Oh, do you want to go to the trampoline? I mean, you didn't have a younger brother, did you? Did you beat up?
I had a younger
beat up
sister.
just,
Yeah, she was 6 years younger than me, so she was pretty lightweight.
Oh, I fucking absolutely dead. Matthew and Jack was class. They just like being thrown around.
Aye, it's good. But yeah, so even when people's kids come around, it's not like that kid friendly.
No.
I don't know if the previous owner used it like for exercise or something. It looks kind of novel. It's fun. Like people always comment on it. But it's 6 months in use, and I'm like, we're never using this. It's the garden south facing. That's a sun trap. That's the bit of the garden that gets the most sun. Occasionally, I've like lay on it, but it's a bit odd. Like I even one time done a seat drop, and underneath it had pooled with water, and because it's a porous film, the trampoline, right? I submerged me full legs and arse in bin juice water. And then came back up. I was just having a drink with Nelson, actually. It was after one of the podcasts. I was like, we've got a trampoline. Poof, and I just come up, just black wet. I was like, you can't even use it as a trampoline. You cannot even use it as a trampoline.
Man, thank God that happened during because imagine that had frozen when you'd done that.
Oh, I've jumped on it when it's been snow on it because it's class because the snow stays put, but like the trampoline guy's doing, and then when it comes back up, it springs it up while you go down, and it's fucking makes like a nice visual display. So I've had me fun with it.
Aye.
It's just time to go on.
Aye.
Right.
Got your money's worth.
So we've been in this limbo. We've got everything sorted with the house, apart from the fact that we've got this trampoline that's just weird.
Aye.
And Natalie's mum and our best friend, these two retired old ladies, just took it upon themselves that they were going to get the trampoline out. And Natalie was like, I said to Natalie, like, we need to have a plan first of what we're going to do, otherwise we're just going to be left with a hole.
Aye.
And Natalie was like, oh, when these two dears get something in their head, there's no stopping them. I'm powerless to stop them. And plus, I kind of want to see what happens because I don't think they can do it.
Aye.
Right? And they just come in, sledgehammer, scalpel, fucking just managed to get it
Thank
out.
God you have those things
Flirted
on it
like-
just after her recent surgeries.
Huh?
Nothing.
Yeah, from the circumcisions. Flirted like fuck with a workman who was felt in a garage roof for like the opposite neighbour, right? I heard that. I listened to them. I was pretending to work in another room, so I didn't have to join in.
Yeah.
And I heard
Like a real man.
like a real man.
Aye.
I was doing my accounts.
Aye.
Because everybody does them in July. So they flirted with him, and they managed to get him to come down and do some of the stuff I should have been doing.
Aye.
On the neighbour's dollar, which is cool. And then I think they blunted one of his tools and gave him some money.
Nice.
So they just had a good day. I was calling them the Chuckle Mothers because that's very funny.
Sure.
And then
I mean, it scans.
scans. And then they had a good time. They left. And now we've got this massive hole in the garden that we don't know what we're going to do with. So we're like,
Swimming pool.
like, you could put a hot tub in it, but Natalie doesn't want an outdoor bath. That's not going to get used. I would use it, I reckon. But she's like, take a bit of maintenance, probably not get used, be just as novel as a trampoline. Nah. And like we could maybe have like an allotment there. We could maybe fill it up with soil, do some veg and all that, right? We don't know what we're going to do with this hole, is what I'm telling you. We had this guy come over and
Ball pit.
Ball pit, use it as a ball pit.
That'd be good. You'd have to have a cover on it like a pool, because otherwise bugs and shit get in. But
I mean, it would. Aye.
ball pit would be great.
So
Deep ball pit, put two. Like you can,
pretty
you can
deep,
jump
dive in it.
Aye.
Or just like Scrooge McDucket, fill it with coins.
Aye. He would. It's amazing that he did not break his neck.
And that's like pretty fucking skillful to dive into coins and penetrate it.
Aye. I mean, I would understand. With the fact that it's a baller move of him to not get it in notes, like just to show how fucking hard he is. Like you could jump from his height into a pile of like paper money,
Loose notes.
Yeah,
that have
loose
been put in
notes.
loosely.
Yeah,
Not that haven't been stacked like
no,
wedge.
And I'm not saying it'll fucking cushion your fall like a trampoline will, but it'll be way better than if it was just stacked notes. But to go for that, like a smaller donate, nomination, Tom? What's the word I'm looking for?
Denomination?
Thank you, denomination. Smaller denomination of a harder substance. I think that was his true display of power.
What was he in the business of that made him deal in coins?
Oh, I think he just emptied the vending machines.
Is he in the Scrooge McDuck? Scrooge McDuck's in the vending machine game.
So he buys his own independent ones, leaves them outside of local swimming pools and discotheques and bibliotheques.
Bibliotheques? Is that a library?
Aye, it's a universal business.
Me, Glenn Wool and Paul Meyerhog got drunk once, and we coined the term Scrooge McDuckin on having your pot noodle in the bath. There's a 2 for 1.
Scrooge McDuckin just sounds like, isn't there a...
So you just pour your pot noodles into the bath and just dive in and have some pot noodle while you're bathing. It's called Scrooge McDuckin.
Isn't a turducken that fucking horrible thing they try to do in Christmas and Thanksgiving in America, where it's a turkey, a duck and a...
I don't know. A high ducking is when you throw a fireball at your opponent.
You high ducking your turducken. And that's what I call Christmas. What is the fucking turducken? Yeah, the chicken, a duck and a turkey, obviously. That's what. So Scrooge McDuckin just sounds like him and Ebenezer Scrooge. So the ladies, they done what they came today. Fucking left full of self-pride that they nailed their little task. And me and Natalie got the numbers of a builder.
Me and Natalie were just left with a hole. And you know what, we spoke
in your hearts.
We got a guy round, man, and he come round to tell her how much it would cost to fill the hole and get a patio.
Aye.
Give her options, right? And he's an Irish guy, and I try not to discriminate, right?
But you're gonna.
But even if he didn't have an Irish accent, I know I was going to get ripped off of him, and it was a really hard thing to just go, oh, this guy's a traveller and he's going to try and rob us.
Aye.
It was really hard not to do that, but I think that's what was happening. So that's you didn't want to not discriminate someone, but also end up getting fleeced.
Aye. Because anyway, because that's a worst case scenario. Because then it'll just confirm your biases, and that's the last thing you need.
So I'm there, fucking torn between being woke and
being right.
And being right. But mate, he was fucking trying to charge us in the region. He was fucking trying to suss out how much we had before he even spoke about money. Fucking Natalie was leading the way, so she thought we had loads. Let me talk, man. You think we've got a note? He was fucking trying to talk 10 grand for a patio of the size of a fucking thingy. And then he started talking about getting my gutters done and all that, and started pricing up jobs around my house. And we're just it was during the football, it was while the trampoline was still in and everything, right? And we just fucking couldn't get rid of him. We couldn't get rid of this guy, and we're trying to pacify him, and we're just trying to get honest prices. He keeps showing us pictures on his phone and all that, right? So we're left with this hole.
Yeah, just bios he's Googled.
It could well have been. He's look, that's a patio, that's a patio. And he was the cheapest one you'll get will be about $4 grand, and it's these stones. You know what it was? It was fucking stones that you get just on the pavement.
Aye.
Outside the shops and that, just council pavement.
Aye.
So I was just fucking, I still don't know what we're going to do with this hole or how much it's going to be, right? But the night after, my friends come around, they're staying for one night, right? This is my friend who I'm not going to name, so we're going to call him Matty.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But it's not Matty. Wink, wink.
So fucking Matty is run. And there's 4 of my mates, 2 couples, right? And me and Natalie. And we just had the best night. Right, we're fucking singing karaoke, we're drinking, because we've been at my gig as well, so we've been out and in, so we had the comedy, we had some day drinking outside, we had the party back. We were meant to get a takeaway, but we just decided that we'd gone out for breakfast and used the breakfast items to make a midnight breakfast. Michelle's a mint cook and she made loads of pancakes, so we had pancake stacks and bacon, and we're just fucking having a good time singing karaoke. We've ended up peeling off one by one, going to bed, and woke up the next day. Just last night was mint, just what we needed. Hadn't seen them in ages, and then decided to go out for breakfast, and we went to Shorelands, and it's just sunny and it's nice, and we've got fucking Bloody Marys.
Shorelands, part of Glasgow.
Yes, it's not for Shorelands, a part of Glasgow. Right. It's just quite nice. It's got some trendy bars and that, hipster cafes and that. You're not that far from an avocado, and they were just oh, it's such a shame we can't do one more night. My parents have got the kids and all that, and they just fucking made some phone calls and decided to stay because the 2 lads, right, Matty and Kev, So if anyone's seen my Insta story, you can deduce that I'm not talking about Kev.
No.
They're really like Matty works in the tools trade and like he's good with his hands. And Kev's a good craftsman, right? So the pair of the lads are just like, we could sort your decking for you. We could get it done while we're here.
Aye.
If we stay another day. So use that as a good excuse to stay. So like that's where the Nexus event started from Matty's parents, because they would have been on their way after that, right? So they sourced some timber and all that, and they're having a whale of a time. This is like two lads in their element, and I'm
Where do you source timber from?
I think it was.
Do you reckon it's like...
They didn't have what they were looking for in B&Q, so they went to like somewhere that's connected to somewhere that Matty hasn't Blythe like you use.
Do you reckon it's like with like fucking drug dealers? So like if I was in Melbourne, right? And I get to Melbourne and I'm after drugs, I'm like, right, I don't know how to get drugs in Melbourne, but I know people who know how to get drugs in Melbourne. So I'd text, I'm not going to mention any names, but
let's say Matty.
Yeah,
let's just say Matty.
I would find Matty in Melbourne, or White Matty in Melbourne as well, and one of those would have drugs. You reckon it's that with wood products? Like if you just work in, is that where? Oh, okay.
I mean, that's what it was for me, because I wouldn't know where to get wood. You can probably Google it and find out there's just like timber yards. Like it's probably not that hard, to be honest. But like Matthew Canning, like you,
but,
what you knew.
Oh, John, I'll take down the time. You stupid gun.
So he sourced the wood. It was like he got it, and they start going to work there in the element, and they're drinking. And I had me Bloody Mary in the morning, right? But I was like, I'm going to stop drinking now because I've still got a gig. So they all like the last.
Oh yeah, what capacity is the stand at?
I think they had about 100 in.
Nice, Glasgow.
Aye, it was full from like they were using all of the space.
Aye,
but
it was just aye.
But you know, if they didn't have socially distancing, they would have probably had the back area cordoned off.
Aye.
And still had a little bit of the people towards the bar squeezed in. So they just like called it capacity and spread everybody out, and it just felt nice.
How was it?
It was class.
Aye.
Really nice. Really good to be back. And the crowd just fucking soared.
Who were you on with?
I was on with Dave Fulton, Chris Forbes, and Liam Farrelly, who I'd never seen before, who totally smashed it.
I think I know Liam. I mean, I definitely do.
So
I just can't remember how I know.
So right, they start. You're googling him.
Aye.
I think he's just signed with our agent.
Yeah. Then he
Do I need to beep that and all or not?
No. I think he's.
Because I was talking about that. He's been working with Molly, you know.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Man, I'm just so shite with.
He was absolutely class. I didn't know how I knew he was, but I'd never seen him before. But he was great. And Chris Forbes was mint now. Dave Fulton was great class. So it's just a good lineup, man. Everyone done well.
A lot of straight white men.
Thanks, man. So I couldn't drink with them, so they're in the heat of the day drinking cocktails all day, because the lasses were making mojitos and all that and bringing the wood for them, and and they were just fucking chopping timber and being men, and I was just staying sober. Had a gig to get to, just having a nice time in the sun, right?
So what you're telling me is two men were building some decking in your garden, and you couldn't help because you're in the arts.
Mate, look, I've got a different set of skills. They're good at doing stuff, and I'm good at sitting here talking about it. I don't apologise for that. Like, it's not that way inclined.
Fair enough.
I get in the way. I make a mess. I like knitting.
That's why I got these soft hands. Unlike my big scary builder friends.
So they were drinking all day, right? And when I come back from my gig, it was about like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. We bought all of the booze for that day, and I had to swing by and get more booze to get back, right? Like, we misjudged like how much drinking was going to be done. When I got back, there was no catching up with them, right? I was trying. I was having cocktails, I was having shots and all that, but there was no way starting at 10 at night is going to catch up with people who have been day drinking in the sun from 10 in the morning.
Aye.
You're just not going to get there, right? And everyone was having a wild time. But one of the lads, Matty...
typical Matty too.
He was starting to like...
God, I fucking hate Matty. I just want to say that on this podcast. I want to get off my fucking chest right now. I've always fucking hated them.
Just for the record, you're talking about Matty or
Matty.
Because the other Matty who I talked about is getting a little right. Because I was doing two mains. I want to talk about this on the podcast, right? But I thought to myself,
I won't confirm which Matty I'm talking about, but I need you to know I fucking.
I thought to myself, we made who was our who we're going to talk about, who we are talking about. He listens to this podcast, right? But he's not. He started from episode 1, and he's up to 150. So he's got 75 episodes or around about that before he catches up to this one.
Aye.
So it's all going to be water off a duck's back by the time he listens to it.
Well,
Or if not, then who cares? No. So he starts arguing with somebody about whoever there's cheese in the sauce, right? This doesn't really. I'm going to try and just brush over this as quick as I can, right? Starts arguing with someone that there's cheese in the sauce, right? I'm not there for this point, right? Is there cheese in the sauce? No, there's not cheese in the sauce, right? And then he eats again. It tastes like there's cheese in the sauce. And we're like, well, it's a white sauce, but there's some soft cheese in. We didn't put the cheese in because it doesn't matter.
yeah,
right?
it's one of
None
those.
of this
It's one of those absolutely doesn't matter arguments.
Right. So they had a bit of static about cheese sauce. This is how fucking trivial this is, right? But when I got back, that argument was done. The person who the argument was with was a bit upset and annoyed by him, right?
Aye.
And he had moved on to asking his lass why she didn't stick up for him. And I whacked in on that bit. So there was just I come back and there was a nice spread of food on. Everyone was happily drunk. Ricketts had arrived. He brought oysters back to him from the sky.
We can't dub Ricketts and we've got to change his name to something else.
Right, let's call him Cullen.
Cullen, right. So Cullen.
Cullen.
Big, bald Cullen arrives.
He'd been at the end of the sky just diving for oysters.
With his teeth.
Like a golem. And he started putting sriracha sauce on and fucking dishing them out and all that. There was good vibes, right? But just one.
I bet that's the last thing a Scottish oyster expected to see as well. Sriracha sauce. If you're an oyster off the Gulf of fucking Mexico, you're used to that. You hear stories about how your ancestors died. Only fucking Ricketts. I love Scottish oysters with Mexican sauce.
And he's just locked onto this thing that he was right about the argument, right? And he can't let it go on. And now when somebody's just had a drink and they're just it could have been anything that he's locking onto. He's just locked onto something. Mm-hmm. And now he's he's upset that somebody didn't back him up. And now the husband of the...
It's just one of those things when a fucking drunk cunt gets something into their head, and because they're so drunk that nothing else goes into their head. And it's the only thing they're able to focus on.
And it was
and it happens to all of the worst drunk people I know. You just get a point in the evening where you just go, oh man, you're just focused on this now, and there's nothing that'll ever get you off this topic until fucking unconsciousness.
Mm-hmm. And I wish unconsciousness had come sooner for him, because he started upsetting one of the lads because one of the lads stepped in and tried to have a word with him, and then he was just right, I'm not talking to him for the rest of the night. He's spoiling me night, he's blowing me buzz, keeping away from him. So one by one he's starting to upset people. The last that made the sauce, the fucking fella, his own lass, and now I'm getting a bit upset because he's fucking spoiling my party, so I'm getting involved, right? And he starts fucking screaming that I can't get involved because I wasn't there with the cheese sauce argument, right? And I'm like, mate, you could have been arguing that the fucking sky was blue, man, and this is inappropriate what you're doing now. Right. But he was just locked in, he couldn't get out of it, and I was actually saying to him, I was like, what do you need? What response do you want from people here? Do you want Al to just sit down and apologise about cheese sauce so that he can be pacified so he can get on? And he just obviously took that as condescending because it was. It was my intent, right? And he starts getting upset with me, and I'm trying to send him to bed and all that, and then he does go on, and then he comes back out with just his shorts on to say one last thing, and it's starting to get a bit loud for the neighbours. So I'm like, this guy needs to get something off his chest. He needs to thrash this out, right? So it's getting on midnight at this point, and I took him out into the woods.
With a shotgun.
Took him out in the woodlands,
Cheers.
Fucking stroked his hair.
Just sorry man, this has to happen. You just got him a nice little wabbit.
So I'm I've had a drink or two. I'm trying to catch up, right? But I'm with somebody who's fucking lost their mind with booze. Mm. And we were in the woods for fucking 2 hours, and he went through every single emotion that there is to go through. It was it was difficult.
Was it I've not been in the woods near your house. Is it like Blair Witch Woods?
Pitch black.
Scary woods?
Pitch black, no ambient light.
Really?
My eyes started.
But but is it a deep forest that's undiscovered, or like during the day? Is it where people walk their dogs?
Oh, no, if during the day they'd be like kids running around playing dog walkers and that. Like it's just a like fun little bit of woodland.
Aye.
You know, if you got any favourite
Would it
becomes
be
farmland.
a good place to play hunt at night time?
Yes, it would be a good place to take your cards as a teenager.
Okay, me and Cara noticed those places when we were like
oh, it's just good. It's like I
bet loads of kids get fingered down there. But that's where you get fingered. You know, little.
And I was like,
talking to me.
just brush over that. Just brush over that. So I like. I'm not going to disclose too much because he's clearly got a bunch of stuff going on. But there was one point where he was crying, asking us to hit him, right? And I'm like,
typical Matty, to be honest.
Typical Matty. And I was like, this isn't about the cheese sauce. This there's something else going on here. This is more than the cheese sauce.
That's very therapist of you, Karen. I don't think you're qualified.
I know, and like when I was trying to talk from like get to the bottom of this point of view, like it really made him turn on us a lot because like if what it felt like. It felt like if this is like an old proverb. This isn't me like fucking relaying my own. But if there's a lion with a thorn in its paw, and you try and like get the thorn out, it hurts on the way out. The lion thinks it's you inflicting the pain, and then it strikes at you. And like he was really fucking going at us at some point, which was quite funny because he didn't really have much to insult us for. So like he was really clutching at straws and didn't really hit home with much. But he was just trying to attack us at points, you know, like trying to character assassinate someone that's perfect. That's kind of hard. That
I guess it's better that he missed because that's why I always get fucking worried about. See if I get fucking like wound up or just angry at someone, and it's in that point where you're just in an argument. Like, I know I've got the capability to say the worst things, and I'm like, you know, UFC fighters aren't allowed to fucking punch anyone in real life because their fists are legally declared as weapons. Sometimes I feel like that with my words.
That's your way of words.
I've just got to. It's not. I'm like,
I'm glad it was just Matty then. Because the best he had was like vitriolically telling us I was pretentious.
Well, which you are.
And I was like, what if pretentious is having like a high enough standard and not just scream your heat off?
Aye. Kai, you're very pretentious. You got a trampoline turned into decking.
Aye.
You got like a free trampoline, and you were like, I'm going to spend money on a place to sit in the sun. That's the definition of pretentious to me.
Aye. And he told us I wasn't there for him as well, which was harsh because like I just rhymed off a bunch of times that I was there for him. So I was like,
you weren't there for me during the pandemic. God, I'm going to use that on all my friends.
Man, I live 500 miles away and I'm not allowed at the house. But I literally Zoom called you fucking every single week. Right. So
I mean, you keep dropping clues in here, and I think the Matty thing's a double bluff. I think this is actually Matthew Cannon. It's like, I think you've actually been very clever about this.
So I come out of the woods with bruised boobs. No, so like, look, I don't want to fucking light him up too hard because he's gone for some fucking shit, and the drink hit him hard, and it was a full moon, and he'd been like,
I swear to God.
There's one point where he fucking mentioned that. That's where I was like, you fucking, I've just done your decking. I was like, mate, that gets any gratitude. That doesn't buy a permission slip to fucking scream punches in the woods. I take the wood back with you if that's the fucking transaction. Like, but no, it was like fucking. It was hard. It was hard, man. Like I fucking because I didn't end up having a night because I spent like my night at work and then the night in the woods. And the thing that stopped us, the thing that drew that to a conclusion was his last walking around the street shouting his name. It's like
Matty Canning,
Matty,
Stinkus Minkus, Stinkus Minkus,
Stinkus Minkus,
Pincer, come home, Pincer,
Pincy,
Pincers. I can't do it. Stinkus Pincers. It's such a
Pincers Minkus.
Pincers Minkus.
Did you tell me that? One of your neighbours lost a dog at 1 a.m. and started shouting that dog's name, who also happens to be your fiance's name.
Yeah, so
that is some jarring shit right there.
But when we this was like when we just moved in as well. Like I remember it because I had the Alleys over. Fuck, I should change their names. The Matties had the Matties over. And like we were just fucking building like IKEA furniture and just having a couple of drinks, and me and Cara were still sleeping on the fucking. We had the mattress because the bed hadn't arrived yet. And we could just hear Cara, and I'm like, it's one of the fucking Alleys outside being a knob. And we Cara, and it goes on like to the point where it's not funny, and it like more. I'm like, it's so weird. Then we go upstairs, and they're going, who's shouting your girlfriend's name? So I open the fucking thing, and there's just this voice going, Cara, and man, like there are rules of society, and when you live in a nice area, you don't make fucking noise after midnight. Man, you don't make noise after 10. Like if you've got fucking,
You know what? Some ambient noise coming out of your house.
It's
Alright.
fine. And if
But,
it's summer and like you've had a barbecue that's been going on all along all
and
day,
it's not a school night.
and it's not a school night, you know, fair enough. There are certain exemptions. It's Hogmanay, etc., etc.
Colour me pretentious.
Shut the. I get fucking so angry because I'm such a light sleeper as well. So I open up and I've got no sympathy. You're making noise. You're ruining everyone else's evening. I'll stand up for everyone else in the neighborhood. I'm this neighborhood's Batman. I just went, shut the fuck up. And there was just silence for a bit. She's like, I've lost my dog. And I'm like, I couldn't give a fucking shit. Like, there are whistles only dogs can hear. Use one of those. Why are you using your fucking voice that everyone can hear? You fucking... Oh, and I was just like...
I thought you would have helped find the dog.
Not at 1 in the fucking morning. Man, it's a wolf, right? If it can't survive the night in middle-class Scotland, it deserves to die during the evening. Like, we have accidentally left Ray out, right, overnight. A 14-year-old cat.
Pensioner.
That grew, a 14-year-old pensioner fucking cat that spent the first 11 years of its life.
That's never once confirmed a kill.
Yeah. Oh, no, it has now. They've all mind.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if our cat can survive in this area 9 hours, your fucking dog's staying outside. Shut the living fuck up. I've got no sympathy for it.
That's pretty funny. But so basically I had that cringe of like hearing this high-pitched piercing voice like reaching me in the woods coming from my estate. And I'm like, fuck, I only thought I had one person to pacify. I thought I was pacifying him on her behalf because she was getting upset.
Aye.
Right? So I'm like...
But what you've actually done is you've brought a fucking Geordie domestic up to middle-class Glasgow.
And like it's...
You tried to bury your past, but that's what happens when you stay friends with Matthew Canning.
So I take Matty in. I take Matty and his bird back in, right? And I had myself a little bit of a fucking huff if we'd have my nights panned out, right? Because I was like really excited about the way everything was going. We had such a belter time, and we're just fucking I'll peel off and go to bed. And I'm like lying in bed pretty sore. I tell Natalie I'm a bit sad because of just like the way I've been treated by one of my best pals and that.
Eh?
I'm talking with Matty, one of my pals. I'm trying not to take it personally because I know it's not about me. Trying to like take my own ego out of it. And like, nah, he didn't. Like whoever was in front of him there would have gotten a character assassination at some point, and like they would have had a worse of a character, so it would have hurt them more. But because
God, you're such a brave and humble man.
Because my character is almost flawless, I got away pretty much unscathed. Really, is this what he means by pretentious?
I think it's, halfway through, did he ever look you dead in the eyes and be like, "Just to let you know, you are the type of cunt who would put eggy bread in a toaster." I need you to know that is well within your.
Don't
fucking
pour a dip. It's called dip.
Aye.
And also, what's with your directional skills, man, Kai?
Real bad.
Yes. Anyway, it's like really hard to go after me sometimes.
You know the speed limit's the target.
So I just fucking got to bed, and then I wake up to Natalie going, "Kai, the police are here." I'm like,
this again.
At the door, and she went, "In the house?"
Oh my God, they found your laptop.
Fuck, man, I am so glad that this isn't going towards the laptop thing. I am so glad that these mates weren't cokey mates.
Aye.
You know, if it had been like any of my cokey mates, they wouldn't have acted like that because they would have been present to mind. No, but you know, if like people didn't tidy up before they got to bed, they rolled up notes, the baggies and all that. Like if the police had come in to a crack den,
aye,
that would have been the fucking worst. But they took that domestic onto me fucking drive. They fucking started arguing outside. And like she was wanting to gan and he was trying to say, "Well, where would you gan? Come back in," and all that, right? And like to the outside, there was like a lass trying to leave and fucking a lad trying to keep her there and that. And the fucking police were calling. I fucking come downstairs. The 4 cops in my house sitting here explaining to them that's just alright. They were just rowing and like they're checking just to double check that's just alright. And then they realised it was like a false alarm, but like they fucking treated it like it was bad,
Aye.
And I was fucking mortified, man.
Aye.
Like, I was absolutely fucking gutted. And like none of us would talk to him the next day. Like he fucking ended up getting the train back. He didn't get a lift back with the rest of them. And fuck me, man. It was a fucking disaster. Alex fucking Lass's mother moved to trampoline.
Well, that'll teach you for being pretentious. Like, had you just fucking kept the trampoline, or had you turned it into a ball pit, guarantee you kept didn't know how to make a fucking ball pit. Would have to get some expert in. Expert's not going to get sunstroke and drink vodka on your porch.
So, so that was my weekend. That's why I don't have any dad jokes.
Oh, well, that's... You know what? I actually don't... Wait, is that just a Geordie version of my dog ate my homework? Oh, sorry, I couldn't write some jokes. My mate needs therapy. Grow up. That's your mate's problem, not yours. Oh, I was too tired. Oh, the police were round at my house. I couldn't write the fucking dad jokes that I reminded you to write this morning.
Oh, that's hilarious. It's funny how when the police left, like, because they realised it was a false alarm, and they left, right? And I fucking, when they were leaving, I was fucking kicking off at them for not taking them. I was going, you can't leave him here, like, you've got a van, fucking take it away. They're just laughing at us. They're like, fucking he again from the airport, fucking running around. But, man, he just always coming to the woodwork. Oh, that's what he said. I went downstairs. He was like, "Oh, there's people coming out the woodwork everywhere." Like, it's my house. You've come out the woodwork.
Well, they like to. So they just get in.
They just come through the door.
Are they allowed to do that?
I think if it's domestic violence that they were getting called in for, because it wasn't domestic violence, but
but if that's the call out.
It was called out for that. I didn't think they were gonna you know what? Whoever called the police, like the right to call them, because you'd rather call them and be wrong than not call them and be wrong.
Aye.
So it was the correct thing to do. But
rules are rules, and they will be getting stitches. Like, I respect what you did. It was the right thing to do. But until then, prison rules change. Like,
so today,
I'll abide by the street laws.
Today I went to my next door neighbour's house, right? Because Natalie said she heard like the neighbour shout something, and then the police arrive, right? And she heard, because Natalie didn't sleep through it, I did. And Ricketts had his come from
it's Cullen.
Cullen had his camper van on the drive.
Aye.
And didn't know about it until the morning. He got up and joined her for breakfast and all that. And we're like, what about last night, eh? It's like after they're gone, and fucking he was just going, eh? He got any camper van on the drive, missed the domestic, missed the fucking police coming, missed the neighbour shouting.
Stupid Colin.
So I slept through it, but at least I wasn't like, in a sleeping bag in the middle of it.
Just gives you a real insight to Colin's childhood.
Yeah.
Like if you could sleep through a man and a woman screaming at each other to the point where the domestic abuse fan is called, and you don't wake up, tell me you're from Newcastle without telling me you're from Newcastle. What a happy childhood. I'll fucking kill you! I never fucking loved you. Rickett, sound asleep. Me.
I'm leaving. Where are you gonna go?
Bitch! Rickett sucking his big toe. Sorry, Colin.
We just call him Ricketts because of the bone eating disease he had when he was a child.
Aye, but that we mean Colin eats bones. That's
how he got diseased.
He just kept sucking the marrow out it.
I do that. It's nice.
Is it?
It's a delicacy in England, but like the last resort in Africa.
It's also...
Trevor Noah was laughing about it in his book, and what, you have dog bone? You pay that much for it.
Isn't it? Also, aren't they, like, isn't bone marrow transfusion a thing?
Yeah.
I suppose we're not eating the human one. Yeah. Imagine the price that gets on the fucking black market.
Yeah.
Be dead good.
So, I knocked on my neighbour's, right? I went and got some flowers, and I went and got some chocolates. And I knocked on the door, and I went, I just want to apologise about my guests for the weekend. I didn't want to come empty-handed, so I went and had them, and she flat rejected the gifts, right?
Oh, you pissed her off that much?
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh no, she doesn't want us to be able to like buy back any goodwill or redeem myself. She'd rather just go nah, right? And I just went, no, go on, please take them. It's like it's for you as much as it's for me as much as it's for you. I need to like apologise somehow.
Otherwise, I'm gonna fucking post these flowers through the letterbox. So you fucking.
Aye.
Do you want me jamming a fucking double decker through there, or do you want to take it with my hands, bitch?
And she was like, nah, he's weren't that bad. And I was like, we both know that's not true.
Aye.
We both know that's not true. Like, and she just went, well, the kids are making noise all the time. And I was like, that's children playing through the day. This is like police turning out to a domestic disturbance at night. Like, they're not comparable. And she just went, the police were here. She had fucking no idea. She had no idea the police had turned up and that they'd been driving on, so it must have been people over the road that shouted.
So you're going to give them a gift?
I don't know. I'm going to get fucking door to door.
I like the opposite of trick or treating.
I'm honestly going to have to get door to door. It was nice because I just had a chat and she was like...
Dressed up as your other neighbours, being like, hi, I know you called it on number 2, but it was actually number 4, and it's me, Brian Donaldson, from that number, and I'm sorry for shouting at my wife, but...
It's been very eventful. You know what? All in all, I've had a good time. It's been a ride. Like, I was going at Natalie. You even had your Geordies up for a fucking pint if you haven't got the cups out.
Aye, well,
like, but at the minute I'm not targeting him at the minute. So if he does listen to this in return, I'm not targeting him until he sorts his salute. I can't. You know what,
Matty, you fucking.
You can't just carry on like, oh no, it's fine, mate. Crack on, do it again, do it tomorrow, do it next week. Just keep acting like that. You've got to be like,
take a long, hard look in the mirror,
Matthew
Canning. A long, hard look in your coked up mirror. Just
to be a good mate, sometimes you've just got to be like, a little bit conversation, I got it wrong. How did I get that wrong?
I don't know.
A little less conversation, a little more action. Sometimes you just got to be that kind of friend, haven't you?
I'm good at it. Was that Elvis?
I think it was, but like, just, sorry's just not enough. Suck my dick.
Aye.
Nah.
Would that help?
You know what would help? If you stopped drinking, it would help. If you went to see a therapist, it would help. If he identified that he was having issues.
Aye.
But if you just crack on like that, like, however. I do not, look, come on next week, we'll have a drink and talk about it.
Aye.
It's so hard, man, from like lads from my way to go for therapy because it's like it gets received as an insult. Therapy gets received as an insult if you suggest it. Like when we were in the woods having a set two, I suggested it there and he took it like it was a direct attack, and it was like
I'll never understand that therapy's class.
There's such like it's really fucking sad. There's a really disproportionate fucking male suicide rate to the rest of the world in my hometown, and it's because
damn you, Mike Ashley.
It's fucking hell because of Mike Ashley in the tune. It's because the stigma on getting therapy is like, you know, you could have lost somebody, you could be going through a divorce, there could be stuff that you just need to talk about and you need
could
to
be
unpack.
A global pandemic we all lived through.
Yeah, like and to tell somebody you should try therapy is like saying, have you tried checking yourself into the insane asylum and announcing that you're mental to everybody? Have you tried doing that? That's how it's received. It's not received as like, oh, I could probably not hit this switch when I'm drunk if I just unpack the fucking damage that's been done that I'm not identifying. If you suggested to someone like, oh, your car seems to be playing up, do you want to put it in the garage? You're like, no, the fucking saying your car's perfect. No wrong with my car. Your car's fucking mint. Like,
you've heard that does sound like people from your area.
It does, aye. That's a bad example. So I just think it's really sad that like people are not like, they'll not action real big alarm bells, real fucking huge alarm bells that their mental health isn't in shape.
I signed myself up to therapy immediately after X.
Aye.
I mean, Hong Kong was a big wake up call.
Yeah, aye. And so like stuff like that should be a wake up call, but like it's like some people won't tap. They'll think it. It's almost like it's if they go down that road, it's like they can't come back from that. They've admitted that there's something wrong with them. Instead of admitting there's something fucking up, is like it's toxic masculinity. That's all it is.
But I also think it's at the point now, like, where if you've got, like, man, we've got friends who are in the army, which is like the most like typically toxic masculine sort of thing there.
Yeah.
They go to therapy and they admit it's class. Like, I don't understand. Like, you can't sit there and go, therapy's a weak thing, and then your friends who are
squaddies.
Your friends who are squaddies and did the hardest fucking thing. How with a straight face can you be like, nah, that's a weak thing to do?
Maybe it is that. Maybe it's like, like, I'm not going to sign up for the same thing that these guys who have lost friends to bullets and got PTSD sign up for just because I can't handle me drink. Like maybe it's a bit of that. Maybe it's like, well, I'm not gonna tap out at this point when they text them much longer to tap.
I just fucking
stop looking at it as tapping out.
Oh,
it's not tapping out.
It's staying in the game longer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, to be fair, I've not. Me and my last therapist, we've sort of just we went through a good fucking year together. We got to the bottom of a bunch of things that got me out of fucking headspace. But then we just didn't talk for a bit. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just get a new one, right? Just because I fancy like somebody else like with a different speciality, because like my problem is fucking different now. So Kara's been helping me. She's just got I hate research. I would much rather you give me 3 options, right? And I just point at one than actually be the person that looks through a list of 100 things, works out the best fucking options, does my head in. But Kara's helping me. She keeps my ADD in check, and we just fucking go through it. And I send off an email, which is just essentially going, oh yeah, I've had therapy for a bit, but I fancy a bit more. Just my head's not in the right place. And also about my addictions come back. I know it's only weed, but it's like something I'd like to get under control and sort of find out where it comes from and why I'm like this. This woman reply, this is a professional therapist guy. This is her job to do this. Replies, hi, sorry. I'm fully booked up at the moment, which is like, it's annoying, but it's a good thing. Yeah. Like the fact that all the therapy, like I would say that to Cara.
It's good that it's popular. It's created a demand for it. More people are going to try to do it because it's a job market.
Right, this is great. Like, I'm annoyed because this seemed like a good one and I did want her, but if she's busy, I'm not gonna be selfish enough to not acknowledge this as a good thing. And then she was like, oh, by the way, marijuana is actually a depressive, so just don't do it. Thank you, bye. And I'm like, oh, just don't do it. That's the fucking, there it is. That's the one.
P.S. Have a banana.
Man, I tell you what, I'm glad she's not my fucking therapist. I wouldn't be able to fucking put up with that. Have you tried not doing it? Every day. That's the main goal of most of my days.
Yeah. You know what as well? You know that it's okay not to be okay?
Disagree.
No, that is step one, and people think that that's the thing.
Aye.
Right? The thing is, it's okay to not be okay, right? You can admit that you're not okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're not alone if you admit that you're not okay. The goal isn't to just stay not okay.
Aye.
You still want to try and get back to okay. You want to try and find okay if you've never had it. The goal... That's just the stage one.
Yeah,
the first part is after that.
The first step is admitting there's a problem, but it's like people who are self-aware about their flaws. You go, nah, motherfucker. You don't just get to be self-aware and be like, yeah, look, I've got a short temper and I'm a bitch sometimes. You go, right, now do the other 5 steps. Do the other 5 steps that get you to the point where you are no longer fucking that. But people just like no, I'm aware of what I am and I'm not going to change who I am. Yeah. Why? Who you are is shite.
Yeah. It is like, if people around you are getting hurt, if you fucking leave a party and fucking 3 people have been crying and one person never wants to talk to you again, like, you should probably go and I should probably rectify that.
Oh, really? Sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, shit. She said she was busy, guy. Fuck. Okay, I'll try and be breathless. Oh, do you want to plug some shows?
Yeah, we're going to do the Fringe.
Aye, I am.
I think I'm going to up in Fire and then run out of the road and do I don't know if it's out yet.
Just say who cares.
I'm going to do a show with Ryan Cullen and
Slut.
Gareth,
Sluts, all 3 of
Gareth
you.
Wall.
Sluts.
I
Sluts.
should change the names. I'm going I got to do a show with Gareth and Ryan, and the whole goal is to do new material. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell them it's new material, right? Watch them flounder with bits of paper, and I'm going to get up and just fucking do my club set. And just going, thanks for listening to me new stuff, guys.
That was my favourite way to play setlist, whatever it was, which was to just go on and be like, I know everyone else is doing setlist. I'm not. I'm recording my fucking special tomorrow, and these are all my zingers. Hitler's third moustache.
So we're going to do a new material show, 20 minutes each, which will... You know what? It's going to be different levels of fun depending on when you come in the run. We're going to do I think we're doing 10 days. If you come at the beginning, it's going to be fun because we'll be all over the place if that's your jam. But then towards the end, it'll be fun because we've actually worked on this stuff and honed it and it's got punchlines.
Aye.
So it's going to be...
And hopefully this year we won't be raging alcoholics during the Fringe for the first time because our venues are so far away and I don't know how much of a hub there's going to be this year.
I'll be driving quite a bit.
And I'll be fucking dead. I'll be fucking dead if I drink with any fucking English comics. You're not English.
You'll be dead if you drink English comics.
I just not during this year's Fringe. They don't get to fucking come up here.
Oh, is this the Scottish Fringe? Is this the Fringe? Are you looking at this as the Fringe is how it should be?
Aye.
This is
the fucking
we've kept the mood right at the last minute and then went, right, it's on psych, only locals.
Aye. We tried, but some of you rat bastards still made up. So just fuck it.
So you're just going to tee off on my dad? And then he responds.
Aye.
Can you change my name just for...
All right, Matty's dad.
Nice.
Matty's dad started a petition to get Chapdoor run into the Olympics. Matty's dad goes belly up on dates to show he's not a threat. Matty's dad refuses to call it a unitard, as he thinks it's offensive and outdated term. Instead, he calls it a poof onesie. Your dad picks his nose like he's fingering a girl and trying to get her to squirt.
And then eats it.
Aye.
Matty's dad, you mean?
No, that was your dad.
Oh,
yeah. And Matty's dad thinks keyhole surgery mean it's done through the arsehole because that's where he keeps his keys.
Nice.
Oh. Also, I'm doing the Fringe. Go buy tickets to that. The end.